guys, this is a topic we haven't ever really touched on the channel very much. We've seen some of the knives that are available for this purpose, but there's an entire category of EDC knives that are outside of what I typically talk about on this channel, and that's self-defense knives, self-defense tools. So we're not gonna look at any of the tools. There are multiple tools on the market. There's all kinds of things you can get. There's pepper sprays and there's stun guns and things like that. Those aren't the topic we're gonna talk about today. What we're going to talk about are self-defense EDC knives. Well, not even self-defense EDC knives. These knives don't really have much purpose outside of self-defense. So we're not going to talk about it a real long time here. I've got 5 knives picked out. One of them is there's a 6th that is an honorable mention, but we're going to take a look at it, and I have a purpose-built tool, custom-built tool that came in from Steel City Cutlery. So without any further ado, guys, you know what time it is. We're going to turn this around and take a look at it from above, but right after you guys listen to a little bit of music.
When I picked 5, technically 6, actually 7. There's 2 versions of this. These are 5 knives that really are not designed for any other purpose than actual self-defense. They're not something that you're going to carry. They're not something you're going to use for opening packages, stuff like, well, most people aren't. So let's go ahead and we'll clear this out. We'll pick the first one. I'm going to go through them at random, but I am going to save this one for last because this one is kind of a special piece. So let's go ahead and get all of these out of the way and start taking a look at them one by one. All right, so this first knife is a knife I have had for a while. This was actually a knife that I had when I was still working for the government. I think I actually got this before I retired from the military. This is a K-Bar TDI. Now, the thought process on this knife was it was meant for first responders that already carried a firearm. And so what they would do is this was designed, as you can see, it's set up so that it is weak hand carry. So for me left, you can rotate this backwards. And what you would be able to do is you just grab that and it falls into a natural position where you can just basically, this is exactly how they described it. You can basically grab a hold of that just like you would your pew-pew or your firearm, and you just thrust forward. It's got a short little blade. It is devastatingly sharp. I'm not going to lie to you about that. But this was something that you could carry either right or left-handed, and this is just exactly how it was used. This was a second chance weapon, second chance tool for first responders. There's actually a training institute in Ohio. The TDI Training Institute is in Ohio, and they made these through K-Bar. This is made in Taiwan, and these are a great, great little defensive tool if you're able to carry a fixed blade on your belt. So like I said, you can see you can carry it. It sits on the outside. Now, they didn't come like this. My buddy Nico did hydrographics on this. But the other thing you had is if you carry it strong hand and you grab it, you have something that is very similar to another knife that's in here, kind of reversed. This is a very, very purpose-built tool. This is not something you're going to use. You're not going to pull this out to open packages. You're not going to pull this out to do whittling and small duty tasks. This does not have much express purpose because of the curvature that it doesn't give you a lot. You can slash, you can poke, but it 100% was, someone's attacking me. I need to get them off of me. I can reach into my belt. It's instinctive. It is pretty much intuitive how to use this. So the first one here, the K-Bar TDI, yeah, 100%. Is one of those ones that starts getting into the self-defense realm, which I've said in the past, there are some knives that cross that threshold between tool and weapon. This is one of those ones. So is it a weapon? No, it's still an everyday carry. It's still a knife. It's a tool. You could, in a pinch, use it for other things, but this is absolutely something that was designed for self-defense and second chance tool in mind. So there you go. First one, K-Bar TDI. Next knife we're going to look at is a Karambit. Now, this is the Wee incisor. This is a knife that is very, very purpose-built, but would require some training because the proper use of this knife is it's going to be in pocket. If you look where the pocket clip is, it's going to come out of pocket, and when you carry it, you're going to be pulling it out and using it like this. And so this is a tool. This is a very old style knife. They were designed based off of a tiger's claw. I talked about it in a video one time, but these are really purpose-built knives, and they are very, very defensive tools. Small blade, big handle, devastating recurved blade for swiping, the ring for retention. You're not going to drop that. You've seen people spinning them and things like that. That's a flourish that I really wouldn't see the purpose of. But if you're comfortable with something like this and you've had some training, this would be something that would be really good to carry. You can also carry it like this, and you can do just the claw cuts. But typically what you're going to see most people do is that index finger goes in here, it goes like that, and it just gives you a tool. It becomes an extension. So you still have a hold of that knife. You're not going to drop it, and you can fight off your attacker. You can claw, you can grab, and then you have this tool that comes out of the back of your hand. These are very, very good cutters. This is not, however, something like you're not going to do like a bunch of day-to-day tasks with this. I've seen people do it, and I think that it's poorly suited for that. It's really meant for one purpose. So, but these were done really well, done by We Knife Company. This one is an S35VN, titanium. Action on it's really good. This one has a really good deployment. The nice thing about some of these are they have what's called the Emerson Wave feature, or a wave feature. This is a very similar feature to the Emerson Wave feature. And what happens is when you pull up on this, this catches the material in your pocket and it yanks it open, and this thing deploys like lightning. It is really fast. I like to equate this to the pocket pistol of knives. So, and this one's aesthetically pleasing. It is a very attractive knife. This one is left and right-handed, ambidextrous, as you would want from something like that. So a Karambit, a good Karambit is a very good self-defense tool, but this one I think would require a little bit more training than some of the others, especially just even if it's training on the different types of deployment, and make sure you're not going to hurt yourself in deployment, and that you can do it reliably using that wave feature however you choose to do it. So there you go, guys. The Karambit, another very good self-defense tool if you train properly. So these next one, guys, are push daggers, and I have to admit, I love Cold Steel's push daggers. They probably make some of the best push daggers on the market. This is one that I really like. This is a very small one and would definitely get you some distance between you and attacker. This is something that would work very, very well in a self-defense role. It doesn't have to be big. You know, I'm going to tell you right now, that's good enough to lay some very, very damaging cuts and punctures on an attacker, and it's comfortable. And the thing is, everybody knows how to punch. Everybody knows how to hit. If you've got a tool that is just intuitive, you get that between your fingers and you punch with that, you have now given yourself a self-defense tool. They also have larger versions of it. This is a much larger version of basically the same concept. This is the Safe Maker from Cold Steel, Safe Maker 1. They make a Safe Maker 2. There's a Safe Keeper 1 and Safe Keeper 2 as well, which are double-edged. This is a very, very devastating tool. So this is a very large push dagger. Now, this is something you would have to look into the legalities of carry. Out here in California, even though push daggers technically are legal, this falls within the legal realm because of the blade length. This is a very, very small knife. This is not. This is a large, large push dagger. But just like the smaller version, it is very, you know, I don't really need a lot of training to use this knife. I think that the small one would be better suited for most people, but this is an option as well if you have it. You know, the legalities are okay with you. You can carry it, you can push dagger it this way, in between the middle finger and ring finger. It's all up to you. This one is not uncomfortable at all. Has a really decent sheath. Now, the only issue I would have with this is very difficult to get out of the sheath. If you happen to have this on a belt or in a boot, it might come loose, and that would give you, basically you'd wind up with this, and you're like, uh-oh, I've got problems. This goes around your neck. Easy to grab. It doesn't really require any indexing because you're just going to go to town and tenderize whatever part of the attacker is available. So there you go. Push daggers, push knives, T-knives, however you want to look at them. These are very good tools for self-defense. And they require very little training, just as long as you make sure you're comfortable with being able to get it out of its sheath in a timely fashion. So there you go, push daggers. This next knife has a very interesting backstory and appearance. So this is the Spyderco Matriarch 2. Now this was definitely a self-defense tool. This is based off the Civilian. So the Civilian is a knife that Sal Glesher was approached by some government agency where they had undercover agents that could not carry a firearm. They wanted a tool or a weapon, a knife that their agents could use in self-defense. and to protect themselves and get some distance without any training, without very much training. And this is a very good knife for that. It is simply a horrific slashing tool. It has a standard grip. Now this, the Matriarch 2, is a version of it because Sal was approached after he made the civilian. He was approached by the government of South Africa or one of the officials in South Africa and said, hey, we have a huge problem with sexual assaults and things like that in our country. We would like a more affordable version of that knife for us to be able to have for women. And that's where you got the Matriarch 2. Matriarch, mother, matriarch. This is a very good self-defense tool. I actually purchased this for my wife for self-defense. She just does not feel comfortable carrying it, so now it's in my collection. Right or left-hand carry. The action on it is very smooth. It is a simple deployment like any other small fixed blade knife. You've got a thumb here. And if you've got a hold of this S shape here, this is going to start your initial cut, and then it's going to force material down into this devastating hook, and you can really, really do some damage. The serrated edges are really going to get you through any material that somebody's going to present, and you can absolutely use this as a self-defense tool. I carry this. It is my left-hand pocket carry. If I know I'm going to a place that's a questionable neighborhood, this will be in my pocket. But typical of all Spyderco knives, I have to commend Spyderco on this. I might give them crap all the time, but they are providing you with multiple points of carry depending on your preference and things like that. Would you want to train with something like this? Yes, you might want to start training and get a good feel for this just in general, but in all honesty, it is designed to require very little or no training to use as a self-defense tool. Spyderco Matriarch 2 or the civilian, very, very similar, a little bit larger, more expensive version. Both very good purpose-built self-defense tools. Like magic, the last one of the primary ones we're going to look at is this Pical knife that came to me from Jared, but it was requested by Steel City Cutlery, not Steel City Customs, that it come to me for some review. This is 100% only a self-defense tool. This is a Pical. Some of you guys might know what a Pical knife is. This is a knife that will sit in your pocket like this. This clip goes on the outside. This knife comes up, and in this grip, you basically just have a tearing grab a hold and pull in, grab a hold and pull in, grab a hold and pull in. Now, in a scenario, I could see somebody's on top of you. You can get to your pocket. You get this out, and you go side rib cage, back of arm, something like that to get them off of you. Not a huge knife, but that recurve is going to lay devastating cuts. Everyone knows how to hammer fist. Everyone knows how to pound on something with their hand. Very, very good purpose built. This is not a knife you would use for anything else. This 100% is a very intuitive, very not thoughtless, but non-thought requiring tool with a big handle. You pull it straight up out of the sheath, and now you have armed yourself with a tiger claw that you can use to dig and pry and get yourself away from someone that's hurting you. This, I'd never gotten to see one. I've never taken a martial arts where I would have had, even thought about having a Pical, even though I've taken martial arts for years. This is literally the most intuitive and easy to figure out tool for self-defense I have ever seen. It requires really nothing. You put this in your pocket, it connects with that clip. It's gonna sit just like this. You grab a hold of that, it comes out of your pocket like that. This stays attached because it's got a nice sturdy clip, and you now can just claw and cut and get yourself away from an attacker. If you like this, I would definitely reach out to Steel City Cutlery on Instagram and see what it would take to get one of these. I do really like this. This thing is amazing, and just seeing the simplicity of it, it's awesome. And it's well built, it's well made. Is it a little rough around the edges? Yeah, but guess what? It's not trying to be anything it isn't. This is not a day-to-day EDC tool. This 100% is something you use last ditch to save yourself and extract yourself from a very bad situation. So guys, let's go ahead. I have one last knife I want to look at that really doesn't fall into this category, but I'm going to show you why I'm saying the best tool is the one you have. So hang on, let's get the honorable mention. Okay guys, honorable mention is a small fixed blade knife. This is personally my current favorite. If I was going to carry something for self-defense that was in my collection, that was mine, that was something that's not gonna be real aggressive looking, it's not gonna be this big push knife, it's not gonna be something that is limited. I can use this on a day-to-day basis, but the way this feels in hand is another one of those intuitive knives. It drops in your hand in just the right way. It's comfortable, and you have definitely got a solid piece of steel that's not going to fail. This Bastinelli designed L'Ascension by Acheron Knives is absolutely a very good self-defense tool if you have training with edged weapons. I have had training with edged weapons. I took martial arts. I'm comfortable with this, but the bonus to this one, and the reason I threw it in, is I can do so many other things with this. I can't do any of the things with this that I can do with this. So for me, this is a very good self-defense item. It provides me with some options on stuff that the other ones don't. But I just wanted to throw out there, I love this. A good small fixed blade can, if you have training and are comfortable with that training, carry as a self-defense tool. This thing would definitely do a lot of the other self-defense tasks that we mentioned before, but also I can use this just as a day-to-day EDC knife. So like I said, those other knives, really limited on what you can do with them. This one, not so much. And the best tool you have for self-defense is the one you've got. So guys, let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and let's get out of here.
Well, there you go, guys. There was 5, well, technically 6 because I added this one in. Self-defense tools. Keep in mind, some of these tools would require that you have some modicum of training. I do not recommend carrying anything as a self-defense tool unless 1, you're competent and comfortable with that item, and 2, have had some sort of training. I've taken martial arts my entire life. I'm pretty comfortable defending myself, armed or unarmed. I don't have a problem with it, but I would recommend that even if you're carrying these items that I mentioned that are pretty much intuitive tools for self-defense, that you have some sort of training, get some training before you start carrying those things. But if you're not going to, there's a couple of those items, like I said, that require very little to no training to just be usable. Because you know what? The best tool you have for self-defense is the one you have. Keys, sticks, whatever you've got. So guys, that's it on this one. A little bit off the typical topic of what we talk about on this channel. So I hope you liked it. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down, but tell me why. Can't change that content if you don't tell me what you don't like. If you want to support the channel, it's as simple as like, share, subscribe, drop a comment, hit the like button. All those things you do, hit the bell icon, all those things you do support the channel and push it up the algorithm. If you do hit that bell icon, make sure you've got notifications turned on your device, or you're not gonna get notified of the large amount of content that I put out weekly. Other ways you can support the channel, if you want to support the channel financially, like I always say, I'm self-sponsored. I have affiliate links down below. Anything you purchase with those affiliate links supports the channel, but it doesn't cost you anything at checkout. There's other ways you can do it. I have a membership down below. The membership is tier-based. Take a look at the tiers and pick out what you think would suit you best, but everyone saves $5 off my sharpening service, and everyone has access to my gilded server. And the final way is I have a merchandise store on Ember Shirt Co. I've set up a coupon code that will save you 10% at checkout anywhere on Ember Shirt Co., including my merchandise, and that coupon code is CrazySharp, all one word, capital C, capital S, CrazySharp. And if you send me pictures of you wearing my merchandise, I will put them in a video. Guys, I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I will see you in the next video.